God bless you in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Something that's in my heart that I really want to share with you this morning is about what can ruin your children. Doesn't matter the gender. What can ruin your children? There's several things that can ruin your children, right? Several things, from molestation to abuse, but we don't tend to talk about arguing, okay? It's hard to not disagree or argue because a disagreement can turn into an argument. But here's the thing, right? You want to keep that at bay, right? It's not a perfect world, but you want to keep that at bay. People disagree, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, I mean, I grew up seeing it with my grandparents. You see what I'm saying? Those are the only ones because, that's who I grew up seeing it with. I didn't see it really with my aunts and uncles in their marriages. But I'm gonna tell you something though. In my marriage, there was obviously that. But I definitely grew up seeing it with my grandparents, right? My grandfather would be trying to, operate out of humility, and my grandmother would be, overriding. Well, I ain't gonna say overriding because everything isn't overriding, but she would be trying to really vent and combat and go against him, whatever. And the thing is that at that time frame, there's different stages of people's lives. Well, in that time frame, he was, the more quiet one. I didn't know the other side where he was, different, but he was the more quiet one. So it would make her look like the bad guy, right? Well, check this out. What we don't really talk about is when people side with a child in their wrongs over the parent while arguing. Okay, I mentioned that in my last video, but I want to tell y'all that is one of the worst things that you can do is side with a child, teenager, whatever. If you side with them in their wrong and, first of all, you shouldn't even side with them in their wrong, right? Your children should never see you be on the side of anybody being wrong. First of all, because you're going to corrupt them, okay? This is what this video was about. You're going to corrupt them, okay? We talk about molestation. We talk about, physical abuse. But we don't talk about judgment, okay? There's a place for something. Disagreeing in front of your children, husband and wife, that even has to be handled with carefulness, okay? How you disagree needs to be handled with carefulness. I used to always tell my ex-wife, we can disagree. It's just about how you disagree. Because she used to always tell me, I don't understand, we're not agreeing. And she would just, she would we're not agreeing. How can this work? And I'm like, it's not about disagreeing. We don't have to agree. You know what I'm saying? It's just about how we disagree. I'm not agreeing with you on everything, and you're not going to agree with, I don't expect you to agree with me on everything. You know what I mean? And some things don't even matter or not, whether we agree or disagree on it, whatever it may be. Everything doesn't matter about what you disagree about. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't necessarily matter. So some things matter. Some things matter, but everything doesn't matter. So I say that to say, give room for disagreeing. But here's the thing, right? Like I said, it's about how you disagree, right? But here's the thing, right? When children are listening, they're sponges. You heard it before. Children are sponges. They're taking everything into account, okay? When a child sees their mother hitting being abused, I meant to say, because usually I ain't even gonna say what usually it is, because I was being physically hit on in my marriage. So I ain't even gonna say what usually is the case. But just seeing physical abuse in general, right? But what I've see, because my ex-wife used to see her mother always fighting men. Okay, so next thing you know, I'm in an abusive relationship, right? And people could laugh and snicker about that, but that stuff is horrible. It's not peace, and you don't want to come back to your house. Okay, women divorce, so what do you think men want to do, right? And then, you know, the thing about a woman is that they'll probably end up trying to kill you because, you know, you're physically bigger than them and you could always subdue them, but that doesn't mean that their anger is going to be, you know, dimmed. So a lot of times they'll just want to kill you. You know what I mean? They'll threaten to kill you. They'll talk about that they thought about killing you. You know what I mean? The Lord showed me that in my past marriage. You know what I mean? That she thought about killing me, and I told her that he showed me that, and she didn't reply and respond for, like, you know, maybe around 5 minutes later. And I'm like, why did it take so long for you to respond about me telling you that the Lord showed me that you wanted to kill me? Like, you know what I mean? Why did that take so long? Like, would there have been a Brother Jonathan today? But anyway, I want to say this is that, you know, what can cripple a child? What can ruin a child? I don't care if it's about, I don't care about any hierarchy in this video. Listen, you don't side with your son, daughter, when they're wrong against the mother. You don't side with the dad, the child, the children, when they're wrong against the father. These are things you don't do. It doesn't matter, father, mother, hierarchy, sub authority. None of it matters. These are the people who are at the lowest rank in the family. You don't let them, you don't let them see that corruption. That's corruption. What you'll do is you'll end up turning your child corrupt. And then you can't get mad at that child once they become a thug, or once they become gangsters, or once they become whatever, lawless. You cannot get mad. It's all your fault. You have to take the weight. I used to tell my son from behind the jail glass in DC jail, I used to tell him, look, I'm not mad at you for being arrested, for being incarcerated. I'm not mad at you. Look what you had to endure. You know what I mean? This is expected. Look what you had to endure. This is expected. I'm not mad at you. You see what I'm saying? Their brains are still developing. Okay? So you have to understand, their brains are still developing. You're corrupting their mind. You're corrupting these seeds. These are corrupted seeds that you're creating, all because there's something about your wife or your husband that is getting under your skin and you want to side with the child in their wrongs. That's demonic. I watched it. My son is gone behind it, okay? People don't like to hear this, but my son is gone behind it. There is no woman that has been among me and my son who has not helped corrupt my son and bring him to his death. There is no woman, okay? No woman. There's none. No. Every woman he saw helped corrupt him to where he became who he became, okay? Understand that. He was seeing women have sex in his room and he had to sleep in the living room, okay? So it's as far as that to as far as wherever, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't, you name it. You name it, okay? So, you know what I mean? So when he turns out this way, you feel me? I even saw in the grocery store the other day, right? This lady said, you look familiar. She said, you're Deontay's dad. I'm in the Walmart, right? And I said, okay, because I still don't know who she is. I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah, you're Deontay's dad. I remember you. And she's like, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah. And then she told me who she was. Now, she was my son's friend's mother. Okay. And I had to tell her, I said, wait, oh, that's who you are? That's who you are? And now I'm, you know what I mean? Because I'm realizing I'm in a grieving period in my life, and we all grieve differently. And it's not even merely, I think it's just I'm being, I can't even say I'm grieving. I don't know what I'm doing because I never lost nobody this close to me, right? So I don't know whether I'm grieving. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm going to tell you this. Right? God is adding to my revelation in this time of my life because he showed me, don't let this happen to Micaiah, your son Micaiah. You know what I mean? And he showed me guarding him from a person. Okay, we ain't even gonna call no names. But he showed me because this person was trying to find dirt. You know what I mean? They were searching for dirt. You know what I mean? And this isn't his mother. Okay. So, and dirt on me because people do these things. They try to take the innocence of a child, right? They try to take the innocence of a child and they try to, manipulate that and what's going on over there? Or, you know what I mean? Violating, but in a real sly, sneaky way, right? And in this dream, I walked in on it and I said, I didn't say anything. I said, what are you doing? And I got my son and I left. And then when I woke up, it's like I heard the voice of the Lord all over me, like, don't let what happened to Deontay happen to Micaiah. You understand? I'm sharing this with y'all because these are the reasons why people in the community are in prison. These are the reasons why people in the community are being killed. These are the reasons why people in the community are rebelling against their parents, okay? Becoming homosexual, having children out of wedlock, you know what I mean? Just beating their girlfriends, killing people. Like, it's so many different things, but the drug abuse, you see what I'm saying? These are the reasons, okay, behind this perverted association with children. You're associating with them in a perverted way, okay? The word perverted means twisted. It's a perverted way. Now, so I grabbed my son and I left. And I said, what are you doing? I grabbed my son and I left. Okay, so what this can do is this can cause you to be like me, a parent who has been wounded from evil against their child. Okay. I'm thinking about these things more than I am the killer who killed my child. And why? Because my son would not have become the person he became to even be put in the position to be even killed. Okay. You have to crawl before you walk. Okay. You don't just wake up a thug. You don't just wake up a gangster. You don't just wake up these ways. But when a child sees rebellion and the siding of rebellion, even on their behalf, okay, meaning that child's behalf, you're siding with that child and their rebellion on their behalf. What do you expect to get? Like I said with the homosexuals yesterday in the video I made yesterday, what do you expect from a son who's only been seeing, femininity all his life? What do you expect? Okay. So we have to have understanding. That's part of the calling of a Christian. If you call yourself a Christian, part of your calling of a disciple of Christ, you have to have understanding. Okay. So part of having understanding is, judgment. Okay. Right from wrong. Okay. You never side on the on the side of wrong. Okay. You never do that. I used to take the side of my former mother-in-law, who's now deceased, okay, Natalie's mother. I used to take her side from time to time, and she didn't know these things. It was behind her back. But I used to take her side over my ex-wife. Why? Because my ex-wife would be in the wrong and her mother would be in the right. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's not about relationships, okay? Your relationships don't matter that much. I don't care if it's your husband and wife. I don't care. They just don't matter that much. Hierarchy doesn't matter that much. Being a father doesn't matter that much. Being a mother doesn't matter that much, okay? They matter only within the realms of right and wrong, okay? You understand? Look, go read about the kings and the queens, right? I'm named after a man who did not side with his father in his wrongs, okay? Prince Jonathan. Prince Jonathan. That's who I'm named after. And my middle name is David, okay? Dauda in Hebrew. I mean, in Arabic, right? Well, with the Fulani dialect, it's Dauda, but it's Daoud in Arabic, right? But the Fulanis are Muslim, right? So that's why, whatever. But anyway, my point is that the name Jonathan, right? This is a man who did not side with wrong. He sided with David over his own father, okay? It's not about relations. And I think sometimes we can be so corrupted that we can esteem people in titles and in positions. And evil is evil, okay? Evil is evil. It's like a pimp and a hoe. A pimp can feel justified in slapping you because he's taking care of a hoe, managing her money. Okay? Managing her money. But he can feel justified in slapping her and beating her. Okay? So this is a twisted relationship. This is a twisted understanding of God. Okay? Now, the parents are to be honored. Okay? But you have to ask yourself, well, how can I honor a parent if they are toxic and demonic and play a very vicious, even if it's sly, but a very vicious role in the toxicity in my life and then the people who are brought into this world? You have to distance yourself. They're not that important. They're not that important. And if God has to show you these things in dreams, listen, man, that means it's bad. If God has to show you in a dream, that means it's bad. Don't marginalize what God is showing you, okay? So yeah, there is no hierarchy when it comes to evil. God bless you in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus Christ.